Okay. Do you guys think Aiden O'Connell changed his number because he was sick of getting compared to Derek Carr, he was tired of the Tom Brady rumors, or the one that I kind of think, he was sick of hearing people calling Gardner Minshew Stabler or Gannon 2.0, so he just looked into the camera and was like, you know what? I'm number 12 now. I will say this. Obviously, we don't have the ideal quarterback under center. It is kind of fun to go into a season with a healthy quarterback competition. And as of right now, you've got people on both sides of the spectrum. Just how daddy likes it. Obviously, I'm kidding. I hate the fact that we always seem to be in quarterback limbo, not in terms of who's playing the position, but in terms of how people perceive the quarterback currently under center. Derek Carr never was able to get every single person to support him. Jimmy Garoppolo is even more polarizing from the second we signed him. And now we've got Team Aiden versus Team Gardner, Team Brett Favre versus Team Uncle Rico. It is absolute chaos in the Raiders community, and I am here to sift through all that chaos to tell you, the viewer, exactly where I stand on the matter, who I think will start week 1, and why I think this person should be the starter. Now, there are a bunch of caveats to all of this. I just realized Brian Hoyer's in the back of that. Shout out to Brian Hoyer in the back of that picture. And a lot of this hinges upon how Aiden O'Connell is able to change his body and mind for the better this offseason. Now, everyone was talking about that little short the Raiders posted of Aiden in the number 4 still. He's changing it now, though. Practicing with the ones. They're splitting reps, him and Gardner, and he looks a little bit stronger. Arms look a little bit bigger. That's step 1 for Aiden O'Connell. As of right now, knowing what we know, Gardner Minshew is the better quarterback of the two as of May 1st, 2024, right? However, that might not be the case once the season starts. If Aiden progresses at a rate he seems to be capable of, because this guy was a 6th-string walk-on at Purdue, and if he came out his junior season, would have been a first-round draft pick. He instead went back to Purdue for a senior season after all of his talent left and went to the NFL because he wanted to get to a Big Ten championship, which he did. However, he played C.J. Stroud probably, and probably lost to him. The irony in all that is, if you look at the rookie quarterbacks last season, it went C.J. Stroud, Aiden O'Connell, 50 feet of crap, and then everybody else. As good or as bad or as iffy as Aiden played this past season, it wasn't good enough to beat Gardner Minshew, because Gardner Minshew is a legit quarterback. People have been comparing him to Rich Gannon, obviously. What if he comes in and wins an MVP? I'm not going to go that far, but here's another comparison I'd like to give you. Just hear me out. What if Gardner Minshew becomes Ryan Tannehill? Somebody that I really, really liked in Miami, and when Miami gave up on him and he went to be Mariota's backup, I said 2 things. 1, it was so stupid for Miami to give up on him. The only reason why they weren't able to win consistently with him is because he kept getting hurt. Now, if that's the reason you're going to give up on somebody, I get it. That's fine. But when he was healthy, they won a lot of football games. And then when he went to Tennessee, I said Marcus Mariota's days are numbered. Didn't think he'd end up on the Raiders, but his days are numbered. And he went in there, and he went to an AFC championship, and they were up double digits on the Kansas City Chiefs. Ryan Tannehill was a staple of improvement year to year and consistency in Tennessee's offense with weapons like A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry. And Gardner Minshew has had no weapons like he has right now with the Las Vegas Raiders. So is it possible that he can come in and be the Raiders, not Rich Gannon, MVP, but Ryan Tannehill, most improved player, kind of that vibe? I think that's very possible. He could win us one more game than we won last year. We won 8 games last year, or did we win 9 games? I don't know, something like that. We can win 9, 10, 11 games with Gardner Minshew playing as well as he played. He also has the ability to develop and get better with new offensive weapons. So the question is this: does the money matter? Because Vic Tafur came out with a report and said, Gardner Minshew's going to be the quarterback week 1. And people were like, well, why, Vic? And he was like, well, they paid him a lot of money. That was it. It wasn't that he heard rumblings in the building that it's Team Gardner Minshew all day, every day. From what I've heard from people just talking in the building is that it's pretty split. There's a lot of support for Aiden. There's a lot of support for Gardner. There's support for both of them. And we're going to see how things play out in the preseason. Oh, this preseason is going to be spicy, man. Do you think if it's a tie or if Gardner's slightly less good than Aiden, they'll just give it to Gardner because they paid him $14 million guaranteed? And because if they cut him next season, it'll be 10 on the dead cap? I don't think so. I don't think they paid him an amount of money that automatically gives him the job, especially if Aiden comes in who is younger and stronger and outperforms him in the preseason. I think this is a good problem to have, and I also think the best thing they could have done is get someone to compete with Aiden who isn't like a prick. Gardner Minshew seems to be an easygoing guy who will compete his tail off, which is kind of the same vibe as Aiden O'Connell. They have different personalities, but they have same energy. And I think they're only going to help each other, and they want what's best for the team. There's not going to be any tomfoolery or any sabotaging from Aiden's camp or Gardner's camp. And I think that the wide receivers and the tailbacks, I just remember Brock Bowers is on the team. I mean, that's unbelievable. Just remember right now. I think that the offense is going to rally around both of them and uplift them both. And I think this is going to come down to the wire. And say what you will about Aiden O'Connell, walk-on, Purdue sixth string. Gardner Minshew is no slouch in terms of things being handed to him either. He was like, what was he, like a sixth-round pick? He fought his way into the league, and now he's making millions of dollars playing quarterback. He's had his back against the wall. He's got a chip on his shoulder too. Who do I want to win the job? Who do I think will win the job? And this is something you guys need to be commenting right now. Here's who I want to win the job. I want the best quarterback to win the job. I don't care if it's Aiden or Gardner. And even if it is Gardner, if I have a soft spot for Aiden because of what he did, he basically saved the season with competent quarterback play, along with AP and everybody else. Got it. Patrick Graham, great defense. If Gardner wins the job, it doesn't mean that Aiden is just gone. Like, Gardner can be the quarterback for 2 years and then Aiden can take over. That could be a thing that they might be planning on doing. Gardner Minshew is also easy to root for, so I want the best quarterback to win. Who do I think will win? You know, there's no reason for me right now to not say it's Aiden O'Connell. Just because I think he has had a full season already with these offensive weapons. He is stronger. Clearly, he's gotten in the weight room. He's worked on his mobility. And he seems to not be fazed by any of this. And the only reason I feel like I know Aiden better than Gardner is because Aiden has been on the team longer. So I feel like I have a better grasp on how he can work and persevere through tough times. And I think as of right now, the vibe that I get is that the guys kind of want Aiden to win this job. You know, nothing against Gardner. I think AP believes in him. I think they proved that by not trading the whole world to go up and get Jaden Daniels when maybe they could have. And they didn't take a quarterback after the first round. They didn't even think about taking one after round one. I think they showed that they believe in him, and they brought somebody in who can compete and who is a lighthearted guy, so he's not going to, go down on Aiden O'Connell in terms of being negative towards him. And I think, I have nothing to go off of. I think they're both guys with chips on their shoulder, and I think they're both going to compete. I do have this feeling that it's going to be Aiden. I've said this since January. I think Aiden O'Connell has the potential to be the future of this franchise because of how accurate and smart he is. If you can do those two things well, you can beat anybody in this league any given Sunday. This roster might be the best roster we've had since 2016. We don't need MVP Derek to be under center. But what we do need is competent quarterback play, and I think we've got two guys who have proved so far that they have the ability to show competent quarterback play for stretches. It's just going to come down to who is going to be more consistent and who is going to make the right read when the game is tied, going into overtime, 2 minutes to go, need to get to the 44-yard line to kick a field goal. Who's going to make a play? Is it going to be Gardner because he can scramble, or is it going to be Aiden because he could drop it in the bucket like nobody else can? What would you rather have? Who's going to win the job? Right now, May 1st, 2024, I think it's Aiden O'Connell. Wouldn't be shocked if it was Gardner Minshew. And just because one wins the job doesn't mean the other didn't improve vastly. It just means that somebody had the edge. What is going to be that edge? Comment below. Let me know who's going to win this freaking thing. Is it Gardner? Is it Minshew? That's the same person. Is it Aiden? Drop likes, drop comments. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/ALLaBorde Raiders. You get your name at the end of the credits. Discord access. Early access to videos. Blah, blah, blah. Exclusive content. There are people in the Discord right now chomping at the bit to talk about all this stuff. It's a party in there. Join. Link is in the description below. If you can't do that, that's okay. You're doing enough by watching the video. Drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe in. Let's get to 6,000 before the season. I think we can do it. Please be sure to subscribe. It is free after no charge to you. I love you guys. And I'll see you next time.